we just did a show the other day talking about the last-minute announcement that CM Punk was injured. And we talked about how sad we were. MJF's missing in action. CM Punk out of action. At least on Raw, we have Cody. And now Cody's out of action.
Do you think it's something we said? Are we cursed? Are we jinxed?
If that's the case, I just want to say House of Black is doing a great job.
Yeah, we love them.
Oh, I love the House of Black.
Yeah, well, we're going to get to their doppelgangers here in a few minutes too. But I swear to God, both these promotions are broke, busted, and disgusted and dicked by the dangle dong of destiny. It's like, I'll lose this promotional war. No, hold my beer. I'll lose this way. I can lose that war in 5 matches. I can lose that war in 4 matches. Lose that war. If it wasn't for bad luck, they'd have no luck at all. I think I've finished with all the similes. And here's the thing. With Punk and Cody, it couldn't be any one of these 100 interchangeable, indie-rific, high-flying spot monkeys in either company that don't matter and don't make any difference in ratings or revenue or entertainment value or whatever. You don't miss them if they're gone. It has to be Cody and Punk, the two shining examples of something that we at least could stand to fucking watch, that are going to be out for who knows how long, because we still don't. Cody hadn't had his surgery yet, and Punk, I don't even know what the injury is specifically yet that he's going to have surgery for. Maybe he's already had it by the time you hear this.
Cody was teasing Money in the Bank on Raw.
Well, no. What I believe they did, without getting into the specifics of what we are with, is this where we are going to talk about Raw or whatever? I think now they're trying to blame Rollins. They're trying to put people's minds in that, well, a month from now, he could have done it, but Rollins hurt him worse. Try to get some heat on Rollins. But I don't even want to tell you now what I think about what Rollins just fucking did.
Well, let's wait till we get there for the review, but let's talk about these injuries, the injury bug.
Besides that, Danielson, right? Did we hear that Danielson is banged up for something for a week or two?
Did we ever get confirmation how badly he hurt himself, if he did it all when he got his leg caught in the ramp?
No, I heard nothing after that. And again, as I said, I can believe he wasn't horribly injured in that, or elsewise, I don't think it would have happened the way it happened, and they made that big of a show of getting him out of there. I think his fucking leg went down there, and then he just decided to work with it. And remember, we talked about that, where he was kind of selling it and making some faces and everything. But no, I don't believe he was necessarily injured there. But I mean, if they say it's only a week or two, it's probably just something he's banged. But what that does is that takes him out of this Wednesday's conniption fit they're going to have, the battle royal to determine the guy that goes to fight the guy that goes to fight what the fuck. And Adam Cole, now they're saying, well, he's going to be out a few weeks because he's just banged up generally. And of course, MJF has been removed from everything, not related. Injured feelings are behind that one on a number of sides, probably. But the point is, if Tony had not rushed and blurted out this contrived, complicated plot to name an interim champion as soon as he heard that Punk was injured, they wouldn't have painted themselves into a corner where now apparently they're going to have this battle royal without Danielson, who ought to be the guy that wins it.
So you're not against the concept of the interim champion, just the idea that it was rushed out, whatever the decision, whatever the announcement was rushed out.
There is a precedent for interim champions in combat sports. The UFC's done it, blah, blah, blah. They did it for 2 weeks in January over the TV title or whatever it was in AEW. But, an interim champion that's fine, especially if Punk's going to be out 3 months. And again, as I said, that's when you use the opportunity to, okay, as Vince McMahon used to tell his staff, let's turn a negative into a positive. So our new champion, CM Punk, can't wrestle. So what do we do now? He's not going to be able to defend this title for maybe 2-3 months or whoever knows how long. Okay, do we name an interim champion? Well, how do we get there? Well, okay, let's figure out a way to get there. And then also let's figure out a way for that interim champion to be the guy that CM Punk could face on pay-per-view whenever he's ready to return, whatever our next big goddamn event where we're going to gross millions of dollars in one night is. And let's work backward from there and see how we get those two together, which would be Bryan Danielson. And then you turn the negative into the positive. By Punk is out, but he's still champion. Danielson, and I don't agree with a battle royal. That just clutters the thing up, and it's mark booking, and it shouldn't have been announced at the same time. If Punk had come out and announced the injury, and then they would have said that not Tony Khan making this announcement. We've seen what he comes off like on television. If they just said that, ladies and gentlemen, right now, Tony Khan and members of the AEW staff are meeting to determine how an interim champion will be crowned in AEW to defend that title while CM Punk is inactive, and then to unify it on his return. And we're going to have those plans and that announcement next week here on the program. Then you've got a week not to fucking go off and fart out a bunch of shit that may bite you in the ass later on. You got a couple of days to evaluate all your top guys and see what is or isn't going to be fucked up if you change somebody around. You've led the people. They've heard an announcement from CM Punk that the brand new champion is now going to undergo surgery. So it's not like you need massive more amounts of announcements on that same program. You've led them to watch next week, and they can speculate and they can think, and everybody on Twitter and social media, what's going to happen? How are they going to handle this? What are they going to do? And then they would tune in next week to see what that announcement is if you didn't blab it ahead of time. And that announcement could have been, instead of this battle royal horse shit, and they want to figure in their New Japan co-promotion, the Forbidden Door, and they had already announced Punk versus Tanahashi, right? Was that the Japanese fellow he's going to face?
I don't know if it was officially announced. They certainly teased it, and everyone thought that.
Well, they played his music, and they walked out and said, fuck you to each other, basically from afar. So one would imagine.
He did his hair. I think he was ready.
Yeah, okay, so the point is, then you say, okay, the following week, you say, okay, ladies and gentlemen, here's what we are going to do. We have picked the 4 top individuals in AEW that we feel could fill this spot, and you've got an out with MJF because he's currently on the naughty list, and that whole thing's going on. You're already going to put Moxley in it because he's allegedly going to fight the winner of the Battle Royal. We'll just bring Moxley, Danielson, and 2 other fucking guys. And we're going to have elimination matches on next week's Dynamite, where somebody's going to have to win twice in one night. And then you have fucking Moxley versus Jack and Danielson versus Jill, and then Moxley versus Danielson, and Danielson wins and goes to the fucking pay-per-view and beats Tanahashi, because who else can wrestle Japanese style better than Bryan Danielson? And who would in NJPW not mind one of their top guys doing a job for? Because I'd assume he wasn't going to beat Punk on AEW's own pay-per-view. So, and then Bryan Danielson says, well, I've proved it. I'm the best wrestler in the world. I not only beat the best that AEW had to offer, but then I beat the best from Japan, and now I'm the AEW champion, and fuck Punk. He never did what I did. And then you've got that little prick, subtle heel, smart-ass, technical wizard Bryan Danielson doing the heel shit that he was doing back in December, for 3 months or however long it is before CM Punk is back and ready to go, and then you have Punk Danielson unification. 2 walk in, 1 walk out in whatever fashion. The loser don't have to go home, but he can't stay here, and the winner's the only champion. Now you've got a fucking match. But instead, some fucking yahoo is going to win a battle royal, and then Moxley's going to beat him up in a stinky match, and then Moxley and Tanahashi are going to have Moxley's masturbatory Japanese fetishes. I can see it coming a mile away. But that's what I would have done. Instead of just blurting this out and telling everybody everything at one time, calm down, string it out, think about it. Who can you fucking get over and feature? And the 2 guys that lose to Moxley and Danielson in your 4-man, fucking one-night tournament, they don't have to be chopped liver, and they might be elevated by being the 2 guys underneath the 2 top guys. But, so again, no Cole, no Danielson, no MJF, no fucking Punk, no fucking ratings, no fucking viewers, no fucking...